Okay, Privyet comrades, TFCom. I didn't think that would zoom in there. TFCom here. I forgot how much my phone zooms in when I hit record. 1 second to pull out. See, I'm responsible. There we go. Alright. So, I wasn't going to make much more to the series I'd started until I had seen some views on it. But I got one view, so that's enough, I think, to make the next one at least. At least one person's interested, that's all that matters. So... Right. The car's loud. But, so for this one, I'm going to be doing terminology. I wasn't really sure what to do with the name. The name's so long on this video. I already know that before I even do it, because I thought it was a clever name, but it's long, so sorry. So I always get nervous when I have to turn at all, whether it's backing up or just regularly turning. So I want to be quiet and pay attention to it. Windows are all fogged up. Alright. And I got a red light. Fine with me. Just don't go behind me. Okay, so in this one it's going about terminology, if you haven't guessed already. And there is a lot of terminology that I didn't even know until, you know, I joined this group, so to say. Apparently I was always part of it and I just didn't know, so that's something there. Okay, so apparently I was always part of it and I just didn't know, which helps a lot to do the definitions there. So, I'm going to first start off with just the word trans. It actually does not mean just transgender people, which is a common misconception. We do TRANS and a little asterisk at the end. The asterisk means and including. So, trans in general means someone whose physical expression or desire of physical expression does not match their biological sex. So this includes transgender, it includes drag queens, it includes people who are not out yet and want to be trans. You are still part of the trans group. It includes transsexuals, it includes intersex, it includes gender fluid. Technically, it includes tomboys and tomgirls. So there's that there. Is the term tomgirl? I don't know. But it does include tom and boys for sure. So that's something people don't realize there either. So why not define some of those things now, I suppose? Transgender and transsexual is the one that people always are confused about which one means what. A lot of people think they're interchangeable, and they're not quite so. So, transgender is someone who, you know, does not identify as their biological sex and wishes to change that. Easily enough. Transsexual is someone who already has changed it. This could be through surgeries or hormones or things around those nature. The line gets a little blurry of at what point are you considered transsexual. Is it after all your surgeries? Is it after as soon as you start your first thing of hormones, like, when are you actually considered transsexual? That one differs between the people that you ask. Some people say hormones, some say not until you've had every single surgery you want, which would be the end of your journey there. So it's a different thing there. It's all about opinions there, but they aren't really interchangeable. To be fair, if you call a transsexual person a transgender, they probably wouldn't care at all. But calling a transgender person a transsexual is not really accurate there. Now, a thing also to keep in mind is that some people view transsexual as an insult. So definitely keep that in mind. Some people, the reason they view it as an insult is because it ends in sexual, so they think it's like saying sexuality, and it's sexualizing, trans people. It's not technically doing that, but a lot of people do believe that. So always been kind of iffy about that. That's why I said it's okay to call a transsexual person a transgender, just because you don't want to get hit. So it really depends. Technically, it does not mean an insult way whatsoever, but there are some people who view it that way. I've met some people who view it that way, get really angry if you try to use that term. Of course. Every time I'm driving, there's some sort of accident or some issue. Right now, there's a bunch of cops around an accident. Yesterday, there was a bunch of construction. Like, I can't drive here. But, so that's those two there, the big confusion ones. Now, the next one I mentioned, drag queens. It also includes drag kings, which are aligned there. Drag queen is a man who identifies as a man and prefers to dress in female clothes for performance, like on stage or going through parades or something like that. They prefer to dress in more female clothes. And they are not females. They do not identify as females. Sometimes, depending on the person, they like being called female pronouns while they're dressed up, but that's not always so. So I would ask them, or listen and see which ones they're using. That's kind of always a hint there. I always kind of wait. But, so, yes, they are included part of the trans community, even though they do not want to actually transition into that gender. They are wearing clothing designed for the opposite gender. They are trans. Trans kings are basically the same thing as a trans queen. Not trans queen, oh Jesus. Drag queen. A drag queen and a drag king are basically the same thing. The only difference is that a drag king is someone who's biologically female and dresses as a male. For performance only. So a lot of them do actually makeup and stuff with their shirt open, so it looks like they have like abs. They like draw it on and stuff and make the boobs look like abs. It looks amazing. If you guys have never seen a drag king, look them up. They're phenomenal art. Drag queens usually go out of the box and get crazy makeup and crazy hair, and it's a performance, whereas drag kings try to make it more sexualized, I suppose is the difference there. Of course, it's not always so, but drag queens tend to be more of a I'm out there, whereas drag kings are more down, I guess, to earth. They're more of showing off their makeup skills, being able to do abs and things like that. At least in my experience. But drag kings are really awesome. You should look them up. Everyone's basically seen a drag queen, but drag kings are the ones people don't know about. So, and then the tomboys, as I said, they are completely included. It's people who, in that one, it's females who dress as male day-to-day life. They just like dressing as male. They aren't doing it for performance or anything. They just like wearing that clothes normally around. Usually they don't bind their chest at all or do any makeup or anything like that. They just have, baggy shirts, baggy pants, things like that. Maybe short hair. So that's a little different there. They don't actually try to hide the chest. I'm not sure the male equivalent is of that, but same thing there. They wear more traditionally female clothing, though they don't like stuff their chest to make it look like they have boobs. So there's that. Oh man. Why is there like a million ducks? Okay, so my phone says it's almost full. Great. This video is going to be put in 2 parts. I apologize already. It's alright. I'm going to have to do this one and then delete a bunch of stuff. So, next one I use, which one did I use? Intersex. That is actually a biological term for someone not being anything really. They're kind of a weird line. It's what I am. They are not biologically female or biologically male. Sometimes they're a mix of the two, sometimes they're neither. In my case, I'm neither. Means you do not have the organs and such to be a certain biological sex. The video is going to have time out, so I'll explain in the next video. TF signing off.